What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Spearhead Transmission. It's May 10th, 2017. It's time to break those chains and water that tree. I'm Nick.
C. And I'm Mike.
So you know who you're talking to. Hey,
You know what, though? I think what happens over time is our voices change.
Yeah?
Not really. I just think that...
People think we sound the same?
I don't understand that. Because in my head, I don't hear anything that sounds like you.
No, I know. I feel like I talk to my nose or something.
Yeah.
But should just say Nick speaking. All right. Well, what I was thinking was...
Pass the conch.
Yeah. So Tulsa's in the national spotlight right now because of this Terrence Kutcher trial.
Right.
Sharpton's going to be here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, soon.
And it's the
He's got his hair from Masters of the Universe movie. It's the
Brittany Shelby.
Betty Shelby trial.
Oh, Betty Shelby or Brittany Shelby?
Betty. Which I don't know. The way I see it is no matter what happens, she's going to be guilty because if she's not, there's going to be. I mean, it's going to cause all kinds of disruption.
I already forgot what happened. There's been so many.
The guy that stopped his car in the middle of the road.
Right. Oh yeah. He was.
Yeah, and she shot him. So he was reaching in the car, and then what I don't get is on the internet. You know, that people will say like the window was rolled up. I've seen the video of it, which I've seen the video, and it did look like the window was rolled up. And then someone will say that's been debunked already. That the window was down. He was reaching into the vehicle. Like I didn't.
How do you debunk that though? Like if it
know.
on the video, it looks like it's rolled up.
Yeah, it looks like the window's rolled up. So I don't know. So that's going on here. It just made me think like, you know, if she is innocent, if she comes out she's innocent, then you know Al Sharpton's here, national news is here.
Yeah,
like, could spark off some rioting or protesting. Kind of, I don't know, something to watch.
Yeah, I think that it's there's definitely some
she already made
embers.
And the thing is, it's kind of like that book I'm reading right now.
Mm-hmm.
It talks about the government like purposely dividing the people, you know, like
to keep them under control, right?
To cause unrest and to cause all these things so that they can pass these laws in the name of safety, you know, to come to the rescue and be like, oh, you know, we're here.
It's basically what we talk about nonstop on this podcast.
Yeah, like we're here to save you. You know, here's these laws that are going to make your life better and safer for the well-being of everybody. But you know, anytime I see the comments on this case, it's like, dude, people are at each other's throats. You know, like somehow have some vested interest in, you know, what's happening directly. Like that's their mom up there or something. You know? And like I read a letter last week from the sheriff of
Nottingham.
Yeah, sheriff of Nottingham over by Ooligo, I think. I can't remember where it was. One of the county sheriffs here, he was basically saying how if Betty Shelby is found innocent or guilty, then all police will be at risk because they'll be waiting a split second too long and end up dead, you know, based on the reaction of this case, right?
Right.
But to me, when I'm reading it, I'm like, dude, don't you believe in the system, right? Like, you know, she's going to go to trial. You can't just tell, like, oh, well, you can't.
That's a good point.
You can't just make her not guilty, you know. I mean, you can't just say she's innocent. You know?
For the greater good of all the other police officers, right?
Yeah, so, I don't know. He says that he's not using his position as sheriff to make a statement, but he's been in, like, law enforcement for 30-something years or something like that. So I don't know.
I mean, what do you expect that guy to say? He's going to say that, you know.
He's going to back his team, right? No matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Regardless of if it's if it isn't, you know, if there isn't justice there.
Oh yeah. But that also this is local too. So Vian, you know what that is?
Vian. That's down by over by Arkansas, like on your way on I-40 to go to Fort Smith.
It's a small town off the interstate.
South of Cookson.
So this is from newson6.com.
Mm-hmm.
Vian police chief steps down over arrest of city councilor's son. So, we always bust cops' balls on here, right?
Mm-hmm.
At least the ones that are, doing shady shit or doing naughty things. But this guy, all right, so in Vian, Oklahoma, let's see, Lindsey Green has worked in law enforcement for nearly 3 years. She was hired in December as Vian's first paid female police officer. In March, they arrested a councilman's son. Okay, Green said she pulled over Josh Smith last week after another officer reported Smith was driving with a suspended license, something she said Smith had been cited for a few months earlier, so she arrested him and took him to jail. Green said she had no idea who it was, but she quickly found out. The arrest report says City Attorney Larry Vickers told Green she didn't have probable cause to arrest Smith and ordered her to release him. The report says Vian's mayor told her she'd violated Smith's civil rights by taking him to jail, then sent the court clerk to get Smith, this councilman's son. Green said she contacted a local judge who told her she had probable cause and the arrest was justified. Mayor Dennis Fletcher wouldn't comment on the report, saying, I'll decline at this time to answer that. I'll have to talk to Larry, but I'd love to get back to you on that. So the whole thing is this government, right? It's some dude's son got arrested, and they think since, hey, I'm a councilman, I'm above you, lowly peasants, workers. Like, let my son go. He can do whatever he wants because I'm in charge.
It's so crazy, man. Even like.
So she resigned from her position as the first female police officer in Vian, and then the chief of police stepped down to support her, right? Because she was right. Which when we talk about driving driver's license and all that bullshit, but what should be more alarming to people is the fact, and it happens all over the place. But if you ever tell anybody that people are corrupt, especially government, they won't believe you.
People in positions of authority. Yeah. Generally always, I mean.
This is small town politics. Like, you don't think that happens in big town halls, right?
Yeah, it probably is more refined, more thought out, methodical, everything.
It's not going to be so.
It's an organized.
Hey, you let Smith out of jail, damn it. And didn't do nothing to you. That's just councilman's son.
Yeah.
You know what a councilman is? It's an elected
official.
Yeah, but they usually run like a snow cone stand or something, and they go to city council meetings Tuesday night.
Well, I'm more popular than you.
Yeah, someone voted for this position.
So majority likes me. They don't like you.
Garbage rules and city municipal holidays and.
Earlier, you said something with you're talking about a book where it's divide and conquer, right? Or
what? Get the author on here, but
I thought about that some the whole idea that, and I think that the machine has become much more subtle, and they figured out that it doesn't have to be conquer; it can be just divide and control. You know what I mean? Like, it's more, we don't have to conquer these people. We've already that's how we conquer them, is by dividing them and controlling them, which then we there's no need for bloodshed, right? The bloodshed happens between the two sides, but there's no need for us to, only when they get a little bit out of hand will we have to, step in and shoot a couple folks, whatever.
Folks.
Right. But it's more about control now, I mean, and I guess the state or the empire or whatever you want to call it has figured out that bloodshed isn't always the answer. You don't have to slap the slaves around or whip them around. You just whip them up into a tizzy and turn them against each other.
Don't you feel like now, especially maybe as opposed to 4 years ago, everybody's more divided?
Yeah.
A lot more now.
Well, I think it's been a progressive. I think it's been a progressive. I think the division really started, it became apparent to me probably, I mean, I think, yeah, you're right. It's probably about 4 or 5 years ago where it started to really become apparent, right? I think there was a lot that had to do with it. But that's also coming from a point of view of somebody who was in with Bush in the first 4, right?
Yeah.
And then was starting to figure out that he was a joke and that it was a joke on the second 4, but was adamantly opposed to hope and change, meaning that something was going to change, right? Was already disillusioned, I guess, at that point. But the division, yeah, probably 5 years ago, it really started to become apparent, and then
the same book I'm reading talks about I think we said this in the last one, shooting at a stadium that's put on by the government to enact a assault weapons ban. It turns out an assault weapons ban turns into like basically everything ban, like minus a shotgun or a bolt action.
Yeah.
And which still gets me, man. All those politicians, everyone always like, well, that's all you need for hunting. Well, I don't think anything about the right to self-defense has anything to do with hunting animals. You know what I mean? Anyway. Yeah,
well, that's their go-to card,
Yeah.
Because
it's the same thing, and there's people that are adamantly against guns, and there's people that are adamantly for them or whatever. And I don't know. I mean, I just feel like now, especially, that's what I mean with that, that case in Tulsa. Like, those people that are like generally, truly, and feel like they have a part in it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that either of those sides are going to change their mind?
No.
Right. It's already made up.
They no matter what, they could have a video of her saying, "Yeah, I knew, I just shot him because I didn't like him," and those people would still,
back
the blue, or
got the thin blue line.
Other side had like, hey, there's an AK-47 in the front seat, and he's got a written letter from him saying he wanted to kill
cops.
Yeah, they would still be like, well, that's not,
He really wasn't doing it.
He proved
it. I got it.
Did. But yeah, no one's gonna change them. It's just like arguing on Facebook. No one changes their mind based on political arguments on the internet. Like, everyone's made their point. I
think yeah, it's that's true. It doesn't. Generally, whenever you have a point, it takes a lot to chip away at it, right? It's not just one little thing, or especially if you're sold on it, right?
I mean, I feel like it's usually you have to figure it out yourself.
Yes.
Someone else isn't going to point it out. Even if someone else points it out for you, you immediately become like
defensive.
And then try to cover up, and then it's only like when you're like, well, that makes
you have to really think about
Derek Vineyard, and when he's in prison, right?
Yeah.
And you start seeing how ridiculous
the skinheads are, or his white
supremacist.
White supremacist.
And he's like, he realized it, but all day long, that one dude, the principal, could tell him, like, hey, this is bogus, But I don't know. That's just my opinion.
No, I think you're right. I think that goes along with anything, where if somebody points it out, generally you get defensive, and then maybe slowly, if you're willing to step back and think about it, you can try to see it from their point of view if you really want to, but that's only if you want to, just like you said. What's going on? We have a guest tonight.
We have a special guest tonight. We've had him on before. We have him a few times.
Yeah.
We've had NC Scout from the Brushbeater blog, so we're going to give him a call and see what he's got going on. He's got some stuff he just posted recently kind of going with what we're talking about right now. So,
all right, you want to give him a call?
Yeah.
I'm going to pause this, but we'll keep the YouTube feed going.
What's going on, man? We're not recording yet. We're on YouTube.
We are live on YouTube,
but we're not recording the podcast.
Live on YouTube.
Yeah.
We're not going to show your number on the screen, so don't worry.
All right.
What's happening, man?
Awesome.
You doing all right?
Yeah. How y'all doing?
All right. So, all we don't have to do it real long, like maybe 20, 30 minutes. But I wanted to talk a little bit about kind of that last post you made. The one.
Yeah.
I liked it. Like, people.
You talking about the one yesterday?
The one about the echo chambers and, people thinking that their leaders somehow related to some blogger. And like, I like that one.
Well, give me a second.
Awesome,
We'll get into that.
Yeah.
I'm going to play some music in here, and then we'll go straight into it. You ready?
Okay.
All right.
Right on, man.
All right. So tonight on the show, we've got NC Scott from the Brush Beater blog. He's been on a few times. He's back again. It's always good having him on the show.
Glad to have you, man. Glad to have you.
Yeah, it's great to be here, man.
So before we get going, I'm just gonna tell you I got my general license.
Mm.
I bought some
Awesome.
Craigslist radio ICOM 735. I think that's what it is.
Oh, man. Here we go.
And then
Great one. Classic.
and then I'm gonna use an in-fed antenna to start out with. That I'm gonna kind of rig up to where my wife can't see it or she can't see it. Kind of want to complain a little bit.
You won't complain about it. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, and then from there move up. But I want to be able to pull it out of my closet, put it in the back of my truck, hook it up to my battery in my car, and go out in the woods and throw that wire over a branch and see who I can talk to.
Sterilize some people.
Yeah.
Radiate everybody.
Radiate everyone. And then Mike's taking his tech license next week.
I'm not.
I thought
No.
you were.
I can't. We've scheduled you scheduled it on the night.
You got a thing. You got a thing you got to do,
Yeah,
right?
we do have a thing, but that test is before. Isn't it?
What time? What?
It's 7.
And how long will it take me?
Like 20 minutes. It's 25 questions.
That means I gotta study.
25 questions.
We better hurry up and get through this so I can study.
So, anyway. So NC Scott does the Brush Beater blog. And, talks about a number of things. Talks about radios. Talks about all kinds of stuff. Did some weapons things recently. But one of the things I liked a lot was kind of, and I can't remember everything about it, but it was a post, I think it came out yesterday or the day before, talking about basically how there's a movement, I hate using all these terms like movement. And like preppers and survival. But anyway, a lot of these guys are latching on to some blogger that they have no idea who he is or where they come from or what they do or and just like hold him up as like a god, and it's solely because, and we've said this on this podcast, is because it's telling that they're regurgitating things that they want to hear, like an echo chamber, like, oh, this guy's telling the truth because that's what I think.
Yeah, well, the only people that need to be propped up and put on a pedestal is the Spearhead transmission.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Exactly.
But no, I really thought that was cool, and I was kind of interested in like what caused. I mean, you don't have to go into details, but like what kind of caused that to fire off.
So, well, it really is a combination of a few things. The whole trolling thing, and the way I look at that is, first of all, anybody can get on WordPress or make a YouTube channel about something, or
Easy, man, easy.
Blog. Any of this. So anybody can. The forums used to be the worst about it, and they probably still are. I don't even. For anybody that's listening, unless it's a forum frequented by people that you know, and it's like an area of special expertise, like ARFCOM or AR15.com has got some good subforums on stuff that the people generally know each other and talk to each other all the time. So you don't run into these jackasses who are just like, spouting off whatever, groupthink crap about, I know what I'm talking about because I read here that this is what this said, and so it must be true, and you never went out and done it. I mean, that's a big part of it. And another thing is especially now, the left was doing it for a long time. The right's starting to do it. I'll probably catch some flack for this whole, the stuff coming from 4chan and like the whole alt-right thing, all alt-right. Okay, well, that's cool and everything, that you're taking that baton and you're running with it. And it's important to try and close the gap and to, create an alternative media that actually is given a fair shake at least, or attempting to, and have that back channel messaging. But you don't have any way of verifying who that is that you're really talking to. You don't actually know. You don't know who that author of the blog is. Like for me, for example, when I was getting started, I had been a contributor to some other blogs, had written some things under, different pen names and everything. And, and then when certain blogs started disappearing, or the material that I covered wasn't even being covered, everybody talks about guns. They all talk about firearms and stuff. All right, that's cool. Everybody loves this stuff. But, what's the bigger picture? You need communications in there too. You need these things. But on top of all that, you also need to understand how cohesive social movements are really created and built, over time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't sit and just read something and say, okay, well, I agree with this, so it must be this. I've been talking with a lot of friends here recently who are all much smarter than I am, and the greater philosophical question, if you want to get into the whole philosophy thing, is like you should always challenge what you believe to be true and challenge the knowledge that you have. And the way that we do that in the flesh is going out and doing it. And sometimes, like I could tell you, getting into communication stuff, I could tell you, all right, Angus is going to work on 40 meters through 160 because that's just the way that the book says do it. But you get out there and you start doing it and you realize, oh crap, we're in the middle of a solar minimum right now, or we're getting into a solar minimum. And this doesn't always work the way that conventional wisdom tells us. So what we've got to do is get out there and get working knowledge. It's the same way like M4. I can take a guy out of an M4 and an ACOG, and I can get him to make accurate, repeatable hits out to 600 meters. But if I just tell you that you can do that, and you don't ever go out and try it, you don't know whether you can do that or not.
Yeah.
You never know.
Exactly.
And so really the bottom line of it all was, take a step back, start thinking about, who's telling you this stuff, who's organizing you, why do you think whatever it is that you think, and don't just accept what people are telling you, man. Don't, even for me, don't accept what I'm saying. Go out and try it.
Yeah.
Go out. I challenge everybody. Go out and try it. If I say, like I've got some things that are coming up dealing with like camouflaging and cool field work stuff, because everything is green again, and I can show you in the pictures. This is the steps that you go through. This is how you do it. But don't believe me. By all means, don't believe me. Go out and do it. Go out and do it. Go out and try it. If you're not doing it, and you're not at least putting forth the effort to do it, then it's not being done.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you should never trust somebody on the other side of the keyboard that you don't know.
Well, I was
Bottom line.
kind of touch on that too. Like, and this is crazy thinking that comes into my head every once in a while. But I was gonna join Gun Owners of America or Gun Rights.
I know who you're talking
something
about.
like that. I can't remember.
One of them groups.
Yeah, and I was like, I was sitting there and I was putting information in the computer and I was like, I don't even know. I have no idea who this is.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, you know what?
Yeah.
If I was a government and I wanted to know, hey, who's got guns? Hey, let's start a group up that's pro-gun. Get people to sign up. We'll lead it. It'll be, totally pro-gun. But everybody that's a group member of that, we know owns weapons, right? So then it's like you're signing yourself up. So I tend to mistrust a lot of people.
Yeah, it's the whole 1984 thing. It's the whole Winston Smith and let's join the underground, but the underground is really being run by Big Brother. I mean, and detractors from that argument will say, well, are you saying that we should just never organize and we should never do it? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. Actually, I'm telling you the opposite. But what I'm telling you to do is do it at the local level. We have the First Amendment. We've got the Second Amendment. They all support one another. And of course the Bill of Rights doesn't stop there. As a lot of people just kind of stop there. I mean, you've got 10 of them. And those people can't even tell you what all their rights are. But the bigger picture is that you should be working locally. You should be working locally. You should be networking locally because, like the whole prepper thing and survivalist thing is this big shit hits the fan and the world is going to melt down and economic collapse. The same stuff they've been telling us for forever now. Okay, cool. Well, you know what? All the stuff can go away, but the people in your backyard aren't going away. They're still going to be there. And they're going to be a problem. You're going to have to address that issue with them first before you start worrying about, let's take up the cause of the Constitution and, whatever else.
Yeah.
All right, cool. But that's
secondary, right?
You guys are in Oklahoma.
Right.
Okay, well, let's deal with Oklahoma.
I think a lot of people have
let's deal with Tulsa.
Your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to meet those needs at the local level before you can go anywhere else.
Well,
and that's really the problem with this. People email me, and of course they did from that last thing, and they were from a few things over the past week, and it was like, okay, you need to take a step back because you should not trust people just because they tell you to trust them. When somebody tells you, hey, trust me, that means you should really be suspicious of that guy.
Right.
Just, trust me, I'm telling you, no. All right, we'll prove it. Cool. You telling me this? Prove it to me.
Well,
why should I believe you?
It's known to the people, the government.
Like you're talking about movements, and you're talking about the left and everything, and we're talking about that. When the left goes out recruiting, this is the way things work with leftist movements. Is the whole recruiting process they had to put ads out on Craigslist, these paid protesters and stuff, and all that stuff gets headlines, and they do get their cannon fodder like that because you've got some half-witted co-ed that's looking to pay her apartment bill or whatever, and go out, hold a sign for a little while, shout at some people, whatever. Her sociology class told her it's fine, and she's going to go out and do that. Fine. But your hardcore believers, your cadre that are organizing this stuff, those people are recruited. They're recruited, they're groomed, they're placed where they are, they're sent around, and they all trust each other. And stuff happens behind the scenes. That's just the nature of the way it works. The right should be exactly the same way, whether it's a libertarian right or alt-right or, whatever it wants to call itself these days. It should work the exact same way. People need to trust each other. And I've actually had this conversation several times with other people, and they're all like, oh, well, we work, we have to do all this stuff. Yeah, you do. But that means that you keep things local, and you keep it local with people people you've built trust with over time that are not any more or any less than what they say they are. I mean, that's really the only path forward. So many people are like, oh, but the in the big scheme of things, all sorts of stuff. Yeah, well, we'll cross the bridge when we get to it. I mean, when you look at the history of right-wing movements, they're all traditionally reactive. There's a reason for that, and traditionally they've all come from within the existing structure, and there's a reason for that too. And I don't think in ours, hopefully we don't get to that point, but, it kind of looks crummier and crummier every day. You got to be ready. But you can only do it at the local level with people you trust.
Right.
I mean,
right.
It's like the door kicker's perspective. Back when I was doing that, I'm not stepping off with a group of guys I don't know, haven't trained with, and don't trust. I'm not doing that. And nobody in their right freaking mind would. And that's basic common sense. I don't know these guys. Well, I don't know what their level of training is. I don't know what they're thinking in their heads. I don't know how they're going to react when gunfire pops off or I throw a banger in a room and that's the way, I don't know anything about these dudes. So why am I going to be running into a room with them? It's the same mentality with, okay, well, we're organizing a defensive party because, the left is really got out of hand and things are just looking bad and, this zombie horde is coming up.
Here's the deal, though. Is that stuff is they don't have those people have no intention.
Yeah.
Do you understand? It's all talk.
Right.
I believe that it's all talk, and I believe that it's just it's all this stuff that's going on in the like what you said on the internet. It's a bunch of all talk, and so I don't think that they ever have any intention of putting these words into action. What were you gonna say?
I think some level of them do.
But
what I was gonna say is, when you're talking about keeping it local and trusting and like the Craigslist thing, I mean, it's known too, and this is kind of what I was taking from your post was, I mean, people put in, moles or dissenter or whatever you want to call it. I mean, and like you're saying, if you're gonna go, take off and do something with some people you don't know, if you're just gonna allow people to into your circle of trust or whatever you want to call it, based on the fact that they say they believe the same as you, whatever that is, I mean it's ridiculous because you could run off with some guy and he starts
Ruby Ridging you
off or shooting old women. Like,
I mean,
what are you doing, man? And then you're in the news and this guy's like
I mean, I think that happens quite a bit.
Oh, I do too.
To your point about early,
it's funny you brought up Ruby Ridge. Ruby Ridge happened because, and nobody had pointed this out in any comments or anything, and I had left that one and Waco out because I didn't even want to get into that. A lot of people don't know what happened with James Ellison, back in 1985. So I brought that one up to make people think a little bit. But Ruby Ridge happened because an informant who was unknown to anyone locally, went to Randy Weaver, who's a gunsmith, and said, "Hey, you gonna saw the shotgun off for me?"
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and if people are coming around talking about things that just don't pass the common sense test, just don't deal with them, and history is what it is. But, I mean, if you have someone approach you and they're recommending things that just don't seem right, that probably ain't.
Yeah.
What's crazy about that whole thing is I heard, and I'm not for sure, it was like that the barrel of that shotgun was cut off 1/8 of an inch or something less than legal limit or something like that.
It was
minor, and then
it was, yeah.
And then
it was a deal that the informant was a biker or something. He was some sort of low-level scumbag, and the agent that was running him was pretty much giving him an ultimatum, like, okay, you're either going to give us something or you're going back to jail.
Yeah.
And so, it was one of those, well, I've got this guy who saw off a shot. I mean, come on, a saw shot, come on. But if you're looking to dig deeper into a group that you can't get into otherwise, that would be the way to do it. So you never ever want to deal with people that you don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's but going outside of the United States. So you look at the IRA, for example. Like back when the provosts were really, really doing their thing, they were really hard to penetrate because they all knew each other. The IRA used less than 200 firearms. In its peak, they had less than 200 firearms, and that's what they were using. And these guns were changing hands quickly between aggressors, so they were able to fight this dirty war against the Brits. They were sharing that information, they were sharing that equipment, they were sharing that knowledge based on trust because they knew each other.
Mm-hmm.
These are people who grew up together. And, they knew, when Patty O'Neill down the road is compromised and he went for a ride with the Brits for a little while or police service in Northern Ireland, and comes back 3 or 4 hours later, you probably ought to not talk to Patty for a while. If ever, because he might have given you up under torture,
right,
or coercion.
Crazy
to me. It's just those little things like that, and you're not going to get that stuff on the internet if you're trying to organize on the internet alone.
Right,
you're not going to do it.
I was going to say the internet causes. I mean, it's like I guess it's not a whole new thing, but it's like. I mean, it's known that the government, local governments do it, police do it, they make fake profiles, like there's fake ads on Craigslist, for drugs or prostitution or whatever. There's fake,
absolutely.
There's fake profiles to cause disruption and to make fun of someone's blog, someone like you, like blog posts, try to discredit it by posting stupid shit in the comments or whatever, but there's also the same thing.
Guys,
people that make a profile to gain access into a group of
It's the same.
To surveil or whatever. And I've said the same thing with these running guns that we do or whatever. Which is just a competition. It's nothing more than a competition where you run and shoot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, there's someone there.
Sure, there is.
That's just running the course, but he's also.
Yeah. But
asking
one
questions
thing to keep in mind while you're doing all that, and it's important to point that out, but one thing to keep in mind is that, and one of the things that really kind of an underlying tone of a lot of the libertarian patriot movement crap is, this anti-police stuff. What you don't understand is that a lot of police forces out there, a lot of cops side with the right. You don't want to alienate that group either. A lot of them most likely are going to be the people that side with a right-wing element when it arises. So I mean, it's important to be cognizant of people who might not be exactly, as they present themselves. Like the Bundy Ranch, for example, and the Bundys, and I don't know if you guys have been following that stuff. I think it's Outpost of Freedom blog, but I might be misspeaking on that. But anyway, and that guy ended up getting shut down by the courts because he was just posting the names of all the informants that were out there at the Malheur Wildlife Refuge. And, you just got to know, if I'm stepping back and I'm doing things that are legitimate, you got a right to protest and everything else. And, if we're going to be out in the open and we're going to play the game the same way the left is, fine. Okay. But you got to understand that if you're part of a group that intends on doing something, again, using another left term, but the direct action end, you have to understand that there's probably going to be people in your group that are informing on you.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way it is. I mean, unless these are people you know and have known for a really long time, and you eat dinner with them regularly,
Right.
and you know everything about them, their ins and outs, you just don't, there's no reason for you to tell them anything about you. There's no reason for you to give away any sort of information to these people. It's common sense.
Right. And you see,
you don't know these people. You don't have any skin in their game. You don't know what they're up to or who they talk to when they go home.
You see, like when I read your article, and one of the things where you talk about how you put these people up on pedestals that do write these blogs, and people just volunteer information left and right. And I think that we were talking about this prior to having you on, and it kind of coincides that we were talking about how divide and conquer, right? This is like a symptom of the compartmentalization of society due to the new gods that run society, basically the internet, the media, state propaganda, and I mean those are the new gods to all these people. Everything you're willing to put everything out there on Facebook. You're willing to tell everybody anything just to feel like you're part of this group, just to feel like you're part of this team, right? Regardless of what the team is.
Yeah.
If it can be a prepper team, it can be a Republican, it can be the right wing, it can be the left wing. As long as you're part of a group, you're willing to just spew whatever they want to hear, right?
What we're doing, right?
This is what we're going to do, and I believe that's exactly what is meant to happen. That's exactly what these new gods are trying to pull from everybody, is to box them up, to put them on the shelf and say, okay, we know what these guys are capable of. We know what these guys are capable of. We know what these guys are capable of, and now we have complete control over all of it. And there's nothing that you can do, and it's all about those people that really want to feel included in this, and they're willing to give up everything for it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Facebook is really the Twitter to a certain degree. I think Twitter really reinforces people's ADD more than anything. But Facebook, I mean, why even bother having intelligence units out there, whether it's police intelligence or federal law enforcement or whatever? Why even bother with that? Just pay a guy to sit there and browse Facebook all day. People will tell you everything you want to know.
Yeah, and post
I mean,
a lot of
and
pictures.
it's always kind of blowing my mind, man.
They probably don't pay anybody to do it. They probably have a computer that's already doing it 1,000 times
right.
faster than anything, and it's already
Yeah,
it's done. It's being done right now.
Out in Utah, man.
Yeah.
And they need the warrant to access the data and all that. Yeah, right. Okay. If you believe that stuff, I mean, and it really the biggest part of it all is the guy who really has the advantage is the total enigma. I mean, I run a blog and that is what it is, and I appear on you guys' show and which I'm very grateful for. But the bottom line is like I could terminate that at any time,
right?
And just and be like, okay, well, use the information. Boom. If you want it, take it. If you don't want it, whatever. And just be kind of done with it. Because I think that sharing information and sharing relevant stuff to people that I care about, because in the end, that's really what it's all about, is really important, because there's a lot of just flat out junk out there, and there's a lot of unrealistic stuff out there. And getting back to the cult of personality thing, there's one thing that I used the two examples I did for effect, kind of in a dialectic way, but salesmen do it all the time, and they do it to sell people their products, and if people want to believe that stuff, that's fine. I mean, the whole materialism thing and all that. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't allow you to critically think. I mean, the whole Billy Mays thing. Like, Billy Mays here, I'm going to sell you some stuff, and look how great it is. But you don't stop to think, maybe that video was edited, and maybe the stuff isn't that great. Maybe I should just buy it once and try it, and, we'll see how this works. People build cults of personality behind anything because it tells them what they want. It tells them what they want to hear. It tells them what they want to be.
There's a perfect guy out there right now that does that. That has really. There's two that come to mind, but have created basically their media empire off of it. They didn't ride on other people's. Well, they may have rode on other people's coattails, but they have created their cult of personality. And two come to mind. Alex Jones is one, which he's created an empire, and Glenn Beck also, right? Like, they both have. One takes a softer, more, he cries on his show and does that, and then the other one loses his shit and sells you bone meal, and wants to give you super male vitality, so everybody's just walking around with hard-ons. And
Superman vitality.
Damn wars. You're gonna get the truth. The truth is.
And those guys. But you know what they do? They've taken a page out of a guy who's really good at, who was actually pretty excellent at it, and he tells people what they want to hear, or lets them tell themselves what they want to hear. But a guy that. Art Bell. Do you remember listening to Art Bell? Like, you could listen to Art Bell all the time.
Yeah, Art Bell was a classic.
Right, but he was a cult of personality, and he allowed you to. He allowed people to get themselves you do a perfect example of a call on Art Bell. I guess that my head's made of cheese. Blah blah blah.
Yeah. I'm a chicken from planet Mars reincarnated. Oh my God. Chicken from the planet Mars.
It's perfect, That's perfect. You do a great Art Bell. And that's it, oh
my.
But those people, it is an echo chamber. You're right. Those people that listen to Alex Jones, they are getting exactly what they want to hear, and he's perfect at it. He does it better than most.
Sometimes Alex Jones, I feel like he's telling the truth.
Well, no, but I mean, isn't that the best way to do it? Is it to sprinkle in a lot of the truth? And then you can move people to whatever whichever way you want to move them.
I mean, I feel like he kind of.
Yeah, I mean, you have a little bit of both.
He's got his game down, man.
Right. Another old timer who is kind of unknown or not as well known these days because he died in 2001. Is William Cooper.
Oh yeah. Okay.
You look up some old stuff on William Cooper.
That's the book.
I got turned on to William Cooper a long time ago. Probably I was around 2007, 2008. I was a young Joe back then. But I got turned on to him, and I had seen some stuff by Alex Jones right before that. But I got turned on to William Cooper, and he had been dead for a while at that point. He died in 2001. But if you look at what he was doing, and then you look at what the people who had come after him did, definitely you'll definitely see some. I don't want to say that other his contemporaries or people
it's okay to say that
after him ripped him off, but they kind of did.
I mean, they already say that they already say that. Don't they already say that Alex Jones? No, they say he's Bill Hicks, don't they?
Hicks.
Yeah.
It looks
yeah.
It looks like he could be.
But no, William Cooper, Bill Cooper was really.
He's the guy that the sheriff shot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they shot him in his house.
He got shot by a sheriff's deputy, if I remember right. And outside of his home in Arizona. And there was some suspicious stuff with that, and I don't know all those details. I'm not old enough to even really remember when in his heyday. I discovered the guy long after he was gone. But you get back and you listen to some of the stuff. This guy's got a point. And really the whole one thing that I don't think, at least I couldn't really tell from what I've listened to quite a bit of him. He wasn't trying to build the whole cult of personality thing. He just was trying to tell people the truth, as far as I can tell. And say, look, this is what I believe to be true, and this is why.
I think that
I'm gonna lay out the case.
I think that the cult of personality thing it kind of naturally progresses because it's generally something that is not part of the norm, or it's not part of a majority, and so people that it's like anything, right? Like if you're into flying radio controlled airplanes, the guy who has the most swag and charisma talking about it is and the most passion about his flying radio controlled airplanes, people will gravitate toward it, and then they build the cult of personality about it almost, and it's I think that it just naturally happens, and it's just that those guys that are the guys that know their game, they can do it even, just like you said, a salesman, they're salesmen. Alex Jones is a salesman. He makes millions off of his supplements.
Alex, for example, like Alex just having his custody case or whatever it was, hearing a little bit about that. I really don't follow the dude. I listened to him the other day when Matt Bracken was on, because Matt Bracken's a really cool dude. Break the Enemies, Scorning the Message trilogy. He's got a new book coming out. He's an awesome guy. But Alex was the whole divorce thing and everything. I mean, the guy's got a lot of money. He's built a lot of money over time, and you don't do that by not building yourself up.
Yeah.
And so I'm not trying to point out that that's inherently bad, because it's not.
No.
What I'm trying to say is that, you gotta look past that to a certain degree and think critically, okay, why is this guy telling me this? Because every leader, every successful leader that everyone listens to or everyone remembers in their head had that. Patton had that. Eisenhower had that. Joseph Stalin had that. I mean, if you go back and there was a really good short documentary that I think Vice did a while back on Donbass in Ukraine. And it was like basically the Night Wolves, which are a biker gang / militia from Russia that are working in Ukraine. These guys have Joseph Stalin, all painted all over everything. And, for us here in the States, we're thinking, man, Joseph Stalin, wait a minute. This guy, he's a mass murderer. This guy, to us, this man's the embodiment of evil. Until you talk to some Russians, and he still is, and that opinion isn't going to change. He's a very common man. But to them, yeah, he was all those things, and yeah, he was bad, but he gave the Russian people hope. He was the symbol of Russian nationalism. And so then it kind of takes on a different meaning. So, I mean, the point is that a successful leader has to have all that, but at the same time, the followers need to be, if they're forward thinkers, they need to be thinking about, why is this developing? And in the libertarian culture, in the patriot / liberty movement culture, we've got a lot of interesting people kind of that are coming out of the woodwork that you really have to question. Okay, well, why is this person important? What is their qualification to even make the judgment that they're making right now? And could this potentially be used against me later on, or against my movement later on? Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people who are popping out of the woods that you, on an ordinary day and in ordinary times, you really wouldn't want associated with you. And in increasing numbers these days, it seems like those types of people are perfectly fine. A lot of this, the alt-right stuff is being associated with overt Nazism, which is pretty disturbing. And it plays right into the hands of the left. They're characterizing the right as a Nazi movement. That's always been their thing they go to. Every protest they have, everything that they do, Nazis and all this stuff. And there you have it. The alt-right, and not saying that the alt-right is anything other than what it is, but people are popping out there with these memes that are ever more militant, kind of sliding in that direction. And you're thinking, well, who's putting this stuff out there? Where is this stuff coming from? Did anybody critically think about this? Mm-hmm. How once these brands, this branding takes hold, how do you control that? How do you control that message?
That's the name of the game, though. Both the right calls the left commie, and then the left calls the right Nazi. So that's the name of their game. Both sides, they want it. It's because one is competitive,
the
right?
Left are they all read Karl Marx.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just think
they all do.
I think that
that's their thing.
The common right are also very nationalist socialists, if you will. I mean, so I'm not disagreeing that it doesn't happen. I'm just saying that it is a right. They both want it's a competitive market, right? And they're competing for your soul. And so that's what they're doing. That's their plan.
Two ideologies into one leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
Well, cool. We appreciate you coming on the show again, man, and
dropping all that insightful knowledge on us.
Yeah, definitely enjoyed the conversation.
It's always a blast.
We'll have to have you on again. You want to go ahead and give a shout out to your website?
Yeah, it's I'm NC Scout, and my blog is brushscooter.com. www.wordpress.com.
Okay.
Check it out, guys. The last blog that you did was called, the one that we're talking about is Augmentum ad hominem a fortiori, right?
That's right.
All right.
Yeah, good job with that.
Thanks. Thanks, man.
Cool.
Feeling good about myself.
All right.
Thanks again. We'll talk to you.
Thank you for having me.
Talk to you in the future. All right.
Adios.
We losing?
No. Okay, you can say your goodbyes. I'm gonna hang up to him.
Well, goodbye.
Okay.
Goodbye.
See you later, man. Thanks. We appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, brother.
Hey, we'll send you
man.
we'll send you the link if you want to post it on your blog. That'd be great.
Absolutely, man.
All right, brother.
Absolutely.
Take it easy.
All right, brother. Y'all take it easy.
Bye. See you.
All right. Ready? I'll play the commercial.
All right.
Dude, Brad Ward is killing it, man.
Yeah.
Are you got anything? You want to read anything that he said?
He's just agreeing with everything, basically.
Oh. Hot zone.
Yes. All right. Thanks again to NC Scout. Check out his blog, Brushbeater blog.
Brushbeater.wordpress.com.
Yeah. So, Brad, thanks for being interactive on the comments.
Yeah, man, you're killing it, dude.
Is a pro NC Scout. All right, Hot Zone.
Yeah, first, I mean, we jumped over something in there. I wanted to talk about. I promised one of our listeners that I would talk about millennials and the new generation X, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I put it in the introduction, but we skipped it. Did you read any of this?
I read it earlier.
Okay. So, what do you think about the word millennial? Like the idea, right? Because it's just the new generation X, right? Isn't that the
Millennials.
You're not a millennial, but you're very close to being a millennial. Did you know that?
I am.
Yeah.
I was born in 1980.
I'm telling you, you're very close to being a millennial. Apparently, according to this article, which this article comes from www.lindsaypollock.com, which I don't know who that is. Probably just a blog. But they're 18 to 34.
Oh, I'm 37.
Mm-hmm. Your wife a millennial?
No.
My wife might be a millennial. No, she's not. Yes. No, she's not. She's off it by 1 year. So
when I think of millennial, I think of whiny, skinny pants wearing shitheads with a beard.
Like hipsters and whatnot.
Yeah, crybabies.
So people that are just kind of that
weak and pathetic. Just some common terms that come to
But I mean, isn't that mind. So? All right, where I was gonna go with this is that it's that's basically what every generation ahead of the prior generation, or excuse me, of the what's that word? The preceding, not preceding. What's the up and coming generation?
Yeah.
Then that kind of how they always talk about
kids these days.
Yeah, right. Like, and so we've moved into that role, right? Like. Of being the guys that are like, oh well, they're just useless, right? They don't want to.
Well, I was in a meeting. I guess it was last week, the week before, and everyone in there was older than me except one guy, and they were talking about working from home, and this was a manufacturing facility, and. They're like, yeah, these damn millennials always, talking about taking their computer home and working from home. And, in my head...
Thinking that's a genius idea.
Like, why the hell would you pay for office space
if
someone can work from home? But then, to them, being at work at 6 in the morning and leaving at 6 and 7 o'clock at night is... that's a sign of, devotion or whatever. It's not
Right.
As opposed to like just, hey, the job that I'm responsible for is being done.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter where if I'm in Uganda, as long as it's getting done, then why does it matter, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it was obvious between the people that were talking. I was just sitting there because I'm kind of, like you said, I guess in between, because I know you fuck off a lot when you work from home. I mean, it's just
right,
working from home.
But you fuck off a lot at work.
Yeah. So I can kind of see both sides, but you can see the difference between, because they were quite a bit older than me, and then me, and then of course I think like, millennials or people younger than me are just, worthless crybaby. Not all of them, right?
No,
a lot of what you see is like, so and so used the word gun in a sentence, and I'm scared of guns. Like, okay,
right?
Fuck, I'm scared of flying in airliners. I still go on vacation. You gotta fucking deal with it.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's what it is that we raised them. I mean, I haven't raised one, but our generation has created it, right?
My brother and I were talking about this because when I was in middle school,
or the generation above us has created. Excuse me, baby boomers have raised them, and we're raising the kids, but beneath the millennials that are going to be. Like you and I are raising kids that are going to be the other generation that millennials are going to hate.
I try my hardest not to be like a nanny to my my kids, because like I was going to say, like when I was in grade school, right? I got in trouble, sent to the wall by Janet Swisho, the principal,
that bitch.
Who had a bob haircut, fucking
mashing clams,
leopard, collared business suit, Anyway, I got in trouble in the second grade for running at recess outside. Running outside because, and she told me, I even told her as a second grader, I'm like, it's recess. You're supposed to run.
You couldn't
she
run?
Said, you could fall and scrape your legs on this concrete. Like, so I got in trouble for running outside.
Dude, I had a guy in my class in 4th grade knock his eyeball out when we were playing football. And you know how we played football? We didn't have. I'm sounding like the old guy. We didn't have grass.
We didn't have those pads.
We didn't have grass on our recess. It was all blacktop.
Oh yeah.
You played football on that. You fall down, run into
the playground injuries. I went to school with a kid that was climbing up. This was not a ladder, a slide. The metal stairs that went up. They were about as steep as a ladder, right? And then it was a double humped slide that was
get it shined up. Yeah, get it shined. Exactly. You get it shined up, man.
It gives me the chills. This guy had buck teeth anyway, right? Big buck teeth.
I know where you're going.
He was running up that ladder and tripped and fell, and he came down and caught himself with his teeth, and it shoved his teeth up into his gums, like busted his lip, ripped his lip open and everything. Woo! God, you know what?
Dang. He's a tougher guy for him now.
I mean,
he just looks fucked up.
Could you have stopped that from?
Yeah, just get rid of the slide.
Yeah, but then
now you don't have a slide.
Then I wouldn't have got the slide down and thing would just fly off on the second hump, or whatever. I don't know, man. I feel like the generation that raised us, and it's still today, everything's so focused on safety that you don't get to experience life, and life has pain and discomfort and everything else that comes with it, right?
So I got something for you then, because I was thinking that this is where this conversation could go. And as much as I don't want to nanny my child, I do.
I do too.
I can't help it, and I'll tell you why. I think about myself at age 6. Dude, I was outside. My parents were never outside with me. I was outside playing with kids across the street. I ran off I'd stolen an electric car from a kid down the street. I had taken it to the high school. I was gone. I went to the park. When my mom finally found me, I
walked to church one day because my mom and my brother went.
At 6 though, right?
Like this was before that. I was 4 or 5. My dad was watching me. I left the house, walked down the street to the church that was like a block away, and hid in the bushes. And I remember I can barely. I was so young, I can't really remember. But I still can see this old lady comes out of church and she like looks because I'm in the bushes, right? Like I got my head sticking out of this hole, and she's like, "Oh," and she says something to her husband and says, you know, like, "There's a boy in that bush." And so then my mom comes out. She still tells me to this day, like, she says she heard, "Hi, Mama," and there I am. Like, I can't imagine my daughter walking a block away from me by herself. You know?
No,
I'm the same way, man. I try not to do it.
It ain't gonna happen, and that's the thing that we have to come to realize.
But
is
I
that,
do let my kids fucking burn themselves. And
sure,
cut themselves, and
but we have to realize that what we say, like whenever, like we have to be honest with ourselves, because that's the key is like we want to say, oh, we don't want to baby him or nanny him or whatever, but we do. It's just we got to do it within reason. You have to let them experience life to what you feel as safe as possible. Like, I'm not gonna let my kid ride their bike alone outside without me at this age. That's not happening.
You did it when you were that age, right?
Shit, man, I was gone. Like,
I know.
when I was 7, I don't even. By the time
people always say like, "Well, times were different back then." Like, I don't really think so.
But by the time I was 8, I had taught my little brother who was 3 how to ride his bike. Dude, we were gone. Like, we were a mile away sometimes. There's 3-year-old and an 8-year-old riding bikes. What kind of crazy shit? There's no way. Maybe not a mile. Maybe a half a mile. I'm trying to think about my neighborhood, and I think it's probably about a half a mile.
I guess when I was 5, 6, we had a big, like, I say big, in my head it was huge, but an area of woods behind, our house. And we go out there and play, right? Climb tree. I don't know how many trees I fell out of the tops, like branches all the way down. And, I don't know, but if my daughter were to say, "Hey, I'm going to go out in the woods," of course, people are going to say, you can't say this, but it's different being a girl and a boy. I'll tell you that. Right?
I agree.
Like when my kids are out by the edge of the street, I always imagine, because you hear those stories on the news about someone picking up some kid and then dropping them off a block away after they've, molested them or something. Which I'm gonna fucking shoot someone's teeth at the back of their head if that.
Yeah. I mean, there ain't nothing.
But
I don't even like to.
Yeah, but I mean that's what I'm thinking about when my kids are by the street. So I can't imagine letting them be out on my side in a field because some guy. Should have had some guy trying to fucking kidnap me when I was a kid. Some weirdo. We were out in the woods. Of course, we were like, I don't know, 13 or 12 or 14. I don't remember how old we were. Riding bikes. No one had a driver's license. We were out in the woods, and this fucking weirdo comes up to us and says he's the cops. And he, and tried to grab my friend. I picked up the stick, and I was like, don't try to touch us, man. And, anyway, we took off running, but that dude got arrested the next day, walking down the street butt naked, jerking off.
What the
Yeah.
See, that's some crazy. I don't think I ever had anybody try to kidnap me that I can think or I can remember. But I
had an unhealthy worry of being kidnapped when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I think because my mom told me something because I was always running off.
Yeah.
But my mom would say if you run off, someone's gonna take you from me, So. Our babysitter, we had this Indian girl that was babysitting us. I lived down in Anadarko. And I remember one of her friends, we were walking on the highway. We were on this highway, walking down to this bridge for some reason. I guess just to pass the time. And one of her friends pulls up in a truck and is like, "You guys need a ride?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I started fucking bawling. I was like, "No, not get in that truck." And she knew who it was, but I was in my head, I was like, they're gonna kidnap us. I'll never see my parents again.
Yeah.
Bullshit. Not get me in that truck.
I
got you figured out, buddy. I'm 5.
I got locked in a cellar when I was by older kids.
Yeah.
Locked in a cellar and told me that the color red was blood and it was gonna kill me. And I was 6. But yeah,
My
That's some
daughter
fucked
told
up
me
shit,
earlier.
though. But
Before I came over, she's gonna rip my skin, or pull my skin off and rip my guts out. Then she says, "I'm not really gonna do it, though, Dad." I'm like,
my daughter told me this morning that she was a bad guy, and she was a cross between a condor and a vulcan, but she meant falcon,
yeah.
and that she could kill me because I was a good guy, and I was a cross between a gorilla and a grizzly.
Mm.
So that was a
Can't fight with that.
I was like,
okay, I guess you got me, honey.
Yeah, you got me. Why were you a bad guy? Is what I asked her.
I don't know. So millennials are probably just in reality probably just different than.
It's just different, right? And this is kind of always the thing, but a lot of
They're gonna make fun of them.
yeah. I mean, I think that's the nature of it, right? It's just a hazing into the next generation, right? Like it's you sons of, which you probably you'll figure out the fucking flying car, right? And then
Someone's got to eventually.
It's
get up there.
it's coming around.
We're past 2017.
It's got to be,
Flying car.
yeah. I mean, it's I mean, I'm sure it's there.
Speaking of cars, I've seen a massive influx of Lamborghinis in this town all of a sudden,
Really,
and Maseratis.
I've seen a lot of Maseratis.
There's a lot of Maseratis and Lamborghinis, and I don't.
Why?
I don't know, but
Who?
I've got nothing. I don't know who's driving it. I have no idea.
Uh-huh.
But every time I see someone in one, I'm like, what a dick. Yeah, no, I really have no reason why I think that. Because the cars, I was like, shit, I'd love to have a Lamborghini,
Mhm.
But in my head, it's immediately just like, a dickhead,
What an asshole. Lord Farquaad.
He's
This
got a
car-
Lamborghini.
He's got one of those Mercedes AMG race cars.
Oh, really? This like 700 horsepower ones?
Yeah,
My cousin has one of those.
it's nice.
It's got the
Looks weird. It looks
dash that's infrared that you can like look where the speedometer is, and it's like a FLIR camera. It's easier to see at night on that than it is to look at out the window.
really.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That
And
is
it like
weird.
detects animals and shit.
Yeah,
The only thing I mean, it's a cool car, but it's gonna kill you as soon as it becomes self-aware.
yeah.
Good morning, Michael.
It's gonna
Have a
fold you up in the seat.
Yeah, smash you. Inject the airbags in your face. Holy shit! What happened to you? Fucking car, man. Get in it. Like reclined all the way, and then fully went straight up and ejected the airbags at the same time. Oh.
All right, what's next?
We're in the hot zone.
We are in the hot zone.
It's very hot. Hot
Stinks
zone.
in here.
All right. What's this Putin? I didn't read any of these.
What?
I read the first one, the millennial.
All right, so this comes from the Daily Mail. Skies over Moscow turn red as Russia concludes 72nd Victory Day celebration. Oh, this is popping up. 72nd Victory Day celebration with a massive fireworks display to mark the defeat of Hitler. All right. This is not what I had put in here. This is that. How does this change? I put an article in there that showed Hitler's or Putin's missile parade that he had on, and I had something. How does that happen?
I don't know.
That's strange. Unless
You know
it's
what's crazy about Russia and Hitler and World War II and all that?
what?
And we shouldn't really have that guy on here to talk about this, but how is it? I mean, I guess it's the same way as like ISIS now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
communist Russia, right?
If you look at the this is strange. I got to tell you this. If you look at the address, it says Putin shows Russia's firepower, huge military parade, but then the actual article is changed.
This was like someone's boiling matches in here.
That's my ass. It's boiling the matches. Oh. Yeah, here down below. What the hell? Did you go to this article?
No.
Go to the article.
I started from the bottom up so I can read ahead.
Oh, all right. Well, this isn't. Oh, yeah, okay. It shows it, but it's down it's further down now for some reason. I want you to go to this article because I want you to look at the pictures. First and foremost, you need to check out the Russian ladies in their
I was going to say
boots
is
in
like
there.
it's crazy to think that the United States government would side with Russia, to fight Hitler.
Right.
Somehow they're an ally, and then you're good. Now you're bad.
Mm-hmm.
You're bad, horrible, can't do anything,
Uh-huh.
and then it's kind of like no one's really worried about them, and now it's back to like these
Evil,
guys are
evil.
bad.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And what are you supposed to
Look at the
believe?
pictures.
Yeah, scroll down, way down past the fireworks. Anyways, missile parades. I like what I wanted to say is I'm enjoying them now. They're back, right? They brought the missile parade back, which is always they're fun to watch or look at, especially now because they've got lots of they got lots of women in the. These women don't look Russian to me. Some of them do.
Is this staged?
Well, this one looks. The hot ones are.
Pictures of women. I got a ton of pictures of fireworks.
Yeah, you gotta go past the fireworks. I don't know what's
Too
happening.
many fireworks.
All right. Look at all of the pictures of the women.
Oh, well. This army of women?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Vladimir Putin looks like someone just told him he's going to have oatmeal for dinner in that picture. He's not happy.
He's always not happy. At the bottom one, he looks like he's like, a bit constipated.
Huh.
Missile parades.
So that mobile missile there reminds me of Russian Attack, the game. Snipers are seen on the Kremlin wall during the Victory Day military parade amid heightened security with Vladimir Putin watching on.
What do you think of a missile parade in the United States?
What do I think of it?
Yeah.
Have they had one?
Uh-uh.
I can't imagine them do it. Shit, they say that it's too military to fly helicopters over the Super Bowl, don't they, or whatever?
Do they not? I thought they flew them over there.
What's this army of women, service women wearing white skirts and blue military jackets were involved in the mass parade? All this Russian firepower looks cool to me because it reminds me of when I was a kid
Yeah.
and would draw shit like this in class. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like missile tanks and rockets with wheels on them, and then you go home and play Russian Attack and is in the background. And these women are good looking.
That's what I was trying to get to.
There's an army of them.
Mm-hmm. He's importing them. And Russia's big, though. It encompasses a big area, so you're going to have a wide variety to choose from. And you can put the best in the parade. You're not going to put dogs in the parade.
Has anyone ever just come up with a reason why the military does that goose step march?
Where their legs out in front, like
yeah. It's got to be the most ridiculous march.
inefficient marching.
Yeah.
It's because it's
Can you
parade.
Can you imagine if you saw something like that coming at you in like a fighting scenario? Like, the fuck is this? High stepping.
You know what?
To my knees.
You know the classic. When you're watching a movie, I don't know if you do this, but I do this. I always like put myself in position, like if I could just go back in time and I could just carry.
What does that smell?
It's ass. It's boiling matches and burning tires.
So there's some snow camo. Like snow camo only on vehicles only exists in video games. It's got a fucking bear stenciled on the front of it. That is awesome. Do you see what I'm talking about?
I have to go back to it. Hold
It's
on.
on the
I
video.
saw it.
It's on 2 hours and 41 or 2 minutes and 41 seconds.
In the video?
Yeah, there's like a video playing.
I can't play the video. It'll be
241. There's a tanked vehicle, like a tracked vehicle. It's painted white and gray like snow camo. And it's got a bear on the front of it.
Okay.
This is the coolest damn thing. That's off 8-bit Nintendo right there.
Oh, I see.
All right, there's pictures of it right there. A Russian Tor M2 tactical surface-to-air missile, quote, Arctic edition. That's sweet. That's cool. These guys are crying.
The Spetsnaz guys?
Are they Spetsnaz? I got their manual.
The guys they're the ones with the shirts, with the white and blue shirt, right?
I don't know. I got the KGB manual, not Spetsnaz. It's not very impressive.
I don't see the snow camo.
It's down.
We're
pictures.
trailing.
Keep going. Yeah, we're just rambling, but you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
That's like video game stuff. That's from like Red Dawn.
I like it. All right, 32 strongest militaries in the world. Who cares?
What?
That's the next article.
Oh.
I always like how they say the comments. I think is what I put on here. The comments section. You have to look at the comments of this.
Oh, shit! I just closed it.
Oh.
What did it say?
It's just that these people, they all have their America gonna roll over them. Everybody just they get caught up.
Will roll over to Russia.
Roll over everybody, and they get caught up in
I gotta tell you, like people that think that just going to war with Russia is gonna be like going to war with Iraq or like Afghanistan. It's not gonna be the same. You know what I mean? Like we have more aircraft carriers and more this and that, but they're not. If you're gonna go into it with that attitude too, is like not a big deal. You can get your fucking ass handed to you.
What's happening? What's funny about this though is that these people that in the comment section. That's what I was.
God.
It's rough in here.
Yeah.
It's a hard knock life. There's more of that.
What are you saying? What the comments?
It's just they get into so much detail in their arguments.
Like what?
Like this, like. Let's move on. I can't.
That was a lot of mass right there.
Something's wrong.
What's the next one?
Did you not read any of these?
No.
This is what happens. Hindu nationalists promise superior Indian babies. So in India, they are genetically modifying kids now.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. And they want them to be, number one, they want them to have high IQs, right?
Indians already have high IQs from the womb.
I think they have great work ethic is what it is. They're just hard workers. But they also want them to genetically modify them to have fairer skin. So this comes from Yahoo News, and it is a Hindu nationalist organization is promising to help Indian couples conceive superior babies with high IQs and fairer skin than their parents, sparking media criticism. Karishma Mohandas Narwani, head of the Garbhing Sanskar project, said it advised prospective parents on how to undergo a purification process to ensure their babies were born free of all vices. What baby is born with a vice? Like fucking.
I need a cigarette.
Yeah,
man.
I gotta get to the poker table.
Bring it on.
We have to ensure the seed is good. But you know what that does, what they have to do there, which means they just pour it through a filter, strain it, which means the quality of sperm.
If you put vodka through a Brita filter, it makes it better. So maybe you put sperm through
Through
a Brita
filter. We have to ensure the seed is good, which means the quality of sperm and the ovum has to be top class. Narwani, a practitioner of Ayurvedic medicine, told AFP
People
on
got
Tuesday.
too much shit to worry about. You've been banging away on some chick like this ovum. This ovum,
It's not.
it's not quality ovum here. I'm out of here.
If that is taken care of, then the baby will have the desired mental, physical, and spiritual quality. So I wonder if my ovum and the quality of the sperm and ovum that made me was fucked up.
My ovum was lazy.
Like
show
the-
people videos on the internet. That was back in the 80s.
Yeah, I can't even imagine nowadays. She said couples could produce superior offspring by following the organization's advice on everything from diet to thinking good thoughts. Actually, our aim is to produce superior offspring full of values and culture. The secrets are all there in our ancient Hindu text, said Narwani. The project, whose name translates as Scientific Purification of the Womb, is based in Gujarat. So that's where my wife's from. Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, she's Gujarati.
You know what's crazy to me is how much humans think that they can control things that
Right.
they can't control.
Uh-huh.
Like you can do all the, like whatever you want to do. The baby's gonna come out how nature takes over in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
This though, what this made me think of is that it's what they're planning on doing is they're planning to do it like the natural way, right? Like there's no. When I said genetic modification, I was wrong. I meant like it's through diet and thinking. They're Ayurvedic, right? So they're
Diet and exercise.
right. Ayurvedic means like it's like a holistic type of doctor, maybe, right? Instead of, so that's what they're saying is that it's thick in here. But this isn't far off as far as meddling with the DNA. I mean, creating superior beings, right?
Meddling with the DNA is going to eventually be taken over by
Computers.
superior beings being integrated with robots and computers, and then
It'd probably be me.
well, you're the one that you're the pro robot man,
Mm-hmm.
not me.
All right, the next article comes from express.co.uk. Do you know who Banksy is?
Yeah,
He's a graffiti artist,
but
right?
he's unknown, right?
Well, nobody knows what he looks like, right? According, I don't know. But Banksy was he got his start as a graffiti artist. He is a graffiti artist, right?
Oh,
he's
there's
just
a picture of him.
He's the most popular graffiti artist, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Banksy's Brexit mural vandalized just hours after £1 million EU artwork appears in Dover. So Banksy's Brexit mural has already been vandalized. Tell me if you find what's funny in this article. Banksy's Brexit mural has already been vandalized after it appeared on the side of a disused amusement arcade. The artwork was up for less than 24 hours when it was defaced. His mural, which makes reference to the UK leaving the European Union, was reportedly valued at £1 million. It features the EU flag with a man chiseling one of the stars off. But thugs armed with spray paint have written the word "The Clash," complete with an anarchist circle A symbol on top of it. Whether this is a reference to the punk band whose second album opens with the song "Safe European Home" is unclear. Among those to have spotted the tag, which is positioned between the rungs of the workman's ladder, was Mark Hamilton. He told a local newspaper, "Can't believe it's been graffitied already. Dover District Council should help protect it."
So graffiti is now able to be graffitied
Yeah,
because he's a graffiti artist.
right. Like so.
He started out as a graffiti artist.
So now,
doing exactly what he's complaining about.
because these people agree with what he's put up there, they feel that the state should protect it from other graffiti artists. It's fucking unreal, right? Like, dude was a graffiti artist. Some other graffiti artist comes along and graffitis his graffiti art.
Yeah.
Well, that's downright shame.
That's a perfect example of how, like this, once Donald Trump's come in office, how a lot of like right-wing Republicans are all about, all of a sudden like, oh, we we should do this or we should do that. Whereas before, if with Obama would do it like, oh, that's unconstitutional. You're invoking or you're imposing my or taking away my rights. For safety.
Mm-hmm.
But when their guy does it, it's fine, right? So it's like the same thing. Like, oh, well, graffiti all day long, and then as soon as, it's on my graffiti, then oh well, hey, whoa,
easy.
Yeah.
Whoa, what's happening?
It's nice music.
All right, next one. Ready?
Mm-hmm. I read this. And I don't even see what the point. Or I guess I didn't read all of it.
Oh well, I wanted to. Is this something to come? And the whole idea was like, is there something more to this? Because it seemed a little fishy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Boston doctors engaged to each other, slain in luxury apartment. This comes from CNN. I just picked CNN because 2 Boston doctors engaged to each other were found dead in their penthouse apartment. According to law enforcement, Richard Field, 49, and Lena Bolanos, 38, were anesthesiologists at Boston area practices, according to the couple's respective employers. Their bodies were found Friday. Police arrested Bampuman Tejera, 30, after receiving 911 calls reporting the person with a gun on Dorchester Avenue in South Boston. Officers confronted Tejera in a dark hallway with the building. In the building, believed to he either pointed or fired a weapon at them, and as a result discharged their own firearms, according to Suffolk County District Attorney Daniel Colony. After a violent struggle, according to the police, he was arrested and taken to the hospital. Tejera was charged with 2 counts of murder. His attorney pleaded not guilty to both charges during the arraignment. Is it raining?
Yeah.
He'll be held without bail. So Tejera's arraignment is, I don't even know if it gets to it in this one or not. But so anyways, these people were on the 11th or 12th floor of their building.
Mm-hmm.
They were throats were slit, they're slashed, they're just cut to death, right? The deal is that they don't know how this guy got in there. So there you go. But how did he get in the building?
Piggyback somewhere.
Because he must have piggybacked him. Used lockpick kit. But how did he get onto that floor, right? Because you had to have a certain key to get into those floors. Like not key like this.
What did they say the point of it was? Like
well,
did he rob him?
They don't know. Well, they said that he had a thing full of jewelry, right? Let's see. During Tejera's arraignment in his room in Suffolk County, John Pappas provided new details about the alleged slaying. Pappas said the Boston police received 2 911 phone calls, one from the front desk at the luxurious McAllen building in South Boston, where the couple lived, and that received a concerned call from a friend of Field, and the other call from the friend himself. The friend allegedly received a text message from Field saying that he was in trouble and that there was a gunman in his apartment.
The hell would you text that?
This is why I say there's something going on here. But I don't know, right? This is brand new. When police arrived, they entered the penthouse apartment and performed a sweep. They encountered Tejera, and a gunfight ensued, wounding Tejera in his left hand, abdomen, and leg. After Tejera was detained, police entered the apartment and found Field and Bolanos. So, where did they find him? They entered the apartment and performed a sweep, and then they fired. Then they killed him, or did they? When did they enter the apartment? Meaning they went further in there.
Yeah.
Okay. They also found critical piece of evidence: a black backpack. Remember the black backpack?
Mm-hmm.
In a black backpack, Boston. I'm going back. There's lots of weird shit goes on in this. I don't know, and I might be making too much out of it. In a conspicuous location full of jewelry, according to Pappas. In a press briefing Monday, Conley said the black bag was not in Tejera's hand when he was shot. He added that at least one knife was found at the scene. During the hospital room, Tejera's eyes were closed for most of the hearing. they don't talk about in this article. They don't talk about the motive. They say it's unclear. They can't figure it out, and they don't know how he got there.
Were those doctors doing anything?
I don't know.
Interesting.
They were both anesthesiologists, so I don't know. And the reason that what made me see this was I was reading another article about a bunch of holistic doctors being murdered. Tinfoil hat stuff, right? Like 50 of them in a period of time. But then these guys are anesthesiologists, and I was just like, man, what the hell? Doctors just getting knocked off left and right? Like, hey, we got too many doctors. We got to get rid of them. I don't know. But I bet there's more to come with this, is the thing.
When did this happen?
I think 2 days ago when I put it on there. May 9th, yeah. At 11 a.m. So I don't know. I haven't checked anything since. All right.
Let's play a commercial and do the ode to women.
Okay. Dude, it's so bad in here.
Mm-hmm. I'm getting sleepy all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Ode to women. Dude, this first on the ode to women thing. It says North Korea broadcast mysterious encrypted numbers amid fears of. That's ham radio stuff right there. Hamming it up. Chewing the rag.
The world's sexiest nurse, Taiwan Insta babe Karina Lin flashes underwear online. This is not the ode to women.
No.
But I'm looking.
She looks like she's got a plastic face in that one picture. In those other pictures, she looks cute. All right. Sex news. This is why experts are telling women to sleep with multiple men at once. Women should date with multiple men in the same type. Did you already say it's from express.co.uk?
No.
Okay, well, that's what it's from. All right, women should date with multiple men in the same time period if they wish to settle down. A leading relationship coaches advise. The dating expert advises women on how to settle down. Monogamy is the model that many follow, but in the bid to settle down and get married, however, women who remain faithful while dating are doing it all wrong, according to one expert. If you're a single woman who's serious about finding the one, the best way to do it is to make sure you're dating several men at once. According to Sammy Wonder, what? Is that a real name? According to Sammy Wonder, no woman should be
Sammy Wonder.
Yeah, no
Like
woman
Stevie
should be
Wonder.
exclusive with any man until he has proposed and there's a ring on her finger. Trust me, this method works. Dating one man at a time means we can close down all our options early on, which can often make us prematurely commit to a man who may not be the best fit for us in the long run. For this reason, Sammy recommends a type of dating called rotational dating. This encourages women to see more than one man at the same time. How to rotational date. Number one, keep it casual. Rotational dating doesn't mean you have to sleep with everyone. Glad they put that out there. It simply means continuing to see other men for harmless cinema and lunch dates till one man from your rotation majorly steps up and asks for your full commitment. Number two, keep the faith. I keep getting my attention keeps drawn on these right articles. In my personal experience, I attracted my husband while rotational dating, Sammy said, and in the experience of my clients, a man who really wants you will move mountains to be with you and not be deterred by the fact that he's got some competition. 3, ditch the guilt. And that's it.
All right. So
Fucking Jesus is replying on the comments. He says it does not work. Bloke finds his missus is sleeping with multiple partner. Not going to work. You couldn't trust that woman again.
But you think of the roles are reversed. Women would, if we were like, if I was dating a woman, right? And we both were like, oh yeah, well we're dating multiple people, right?
Well, I'm just trying to get the best connection.
Yeah. I like you, but there might be a better connection out here, right? I mean, I don't have a problem with it, right? I think that they're living in a fantasy land, thinking that they're going to be okay with it, right?
You know that joke about women and trying to find the perfect man in an elevator? It's got first level, like, guy's got no job and lives with his parents or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Second level's got a guy that's got a job, makes like $50,000 a year. Third level's like the guy that's getting like $200,000 a year, a Ferrari, a Lamborghini. Fourth level's like millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
Fifth level's like Prince Abdullah Oblongata, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, I can't remember the joke. I just remember the parts of it. Like there's a bellboy in the elevator, so the woman's like, "Well, what's on floor 7?" You know, like
Mm-hmm.
you're not satisfied with Prince Abdullah Oblongata or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Prince Ali
I fucked
yeah.
that up, but
Yeah, I
you
got
get
it.
the point.
Yeah, I got it. What's on?
You can't. Who's Ashley Graham?
I know. She's a big girl.
Is that the Sports Illustrated
Mm-hmm.
chick?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember her ass looking like that looks like a packaged ham.
You know. It's all right.
She's pretty though. That's why
Mhm.
it cracks me up. Is like she's doing all this stuff for women because she's a plus size model. Like she's an attractive woman. Doesn't have to do with the fact that she's fat. You know.
Right. I don't know. This ode to woman really isn't an ode to women.
It's kind of busting their balls.
Yeah. Well, I just think that it's one of those things like, hey, you know, I don't think it works, right? Like, I don't think what you're... But that isn't that kind of the case with all of these things, right? That they write in this? It doesn't... they don't work. And they like exactly the opposite of... Yeah, the guy that it wants to be with you is going to move mountains. And you know what you're going to do? You're going to tell him to hit the road because he's too nice. Or they'll come up with something, right?
My asshole ex boyfriend is talking to me again, so I can't talk to Jonathan, who has done nothing but woo me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, old
Come on,
Jimmy's
man.
got leather jacket, tattoos, smokes cigarettes, and slaps me around. That's what I'm looking for right now. And then, tell you what's happening a lot now.
Uh-huh.
I read, actually I was talking to a guy about this a while back, and this doesn't include all women in America. So get that
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
No, what I'm about to say, but like a lot of men are going to like Eastern European women and like overseas, like Filipinos, stuff like that, because American women are getting to the point to, you know, like feminists and everything are pushing
Not
this agenda
appreciating.
where, like, you know, a woman and a man, you know, like the typical model of what a man likes, you know, being comforted or, you know,
Right.
provided, like, you know, Eastern European women or whatever, all for that. Like, I'll cook you dinner and, you know, take care of you or whatever. And
I'll make you a sandwich.
yeah.
I'll play with your balls.
Yeah.
And wait a minute, hold on. What is it? And I won't talk so much, right? That's the old Dave Chappelle line.
So, like, you know, there's a lot of, I mean, I don't know how true all this is, but, I mean, in my head, you can see it, right?
Uh-huh.
Because American women are told from the day they're born that they're special princesses and they deserve, you know, I mean, and so those damn millennials think that they just deserve all this free shit without, you know, putting any effort out. And, like, these other, you know, countries don't. So, like, oh, yeah, we'll take American men or whatever.
Uh-huh.
There's something on, like it was a meme or something on the internet that said, you know, pass up all these guys and friend zone all these people throughout time and complain about not being able to find a man and end up single and alone with 7 cats. I don't know how true it is, but
yeah, that's a good point though. When you think about it, right? Because
I know a person that spent like $13,000 or something ridiculous on a honeymoon, and during that trip, his wife was like, "You think we'll ever be able to take a trip like this again? Let's just enjoy the fact that we're here. Let's not worry about what's going to happen in the future." You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's not. I mean, you could have that thought, completely, meaning harmless. Like, I wonder if we'll be able to do this again. But it kind of just shows you how, people believe in this country. Like, oh, I should be able to do this. Or I should be able to do that. I should be able. I should live in a $500,000 house. Like, why? Why do you need that? You don't. And then if you think that someone that can't provide that for you is somehow lacking or whatever, then you're just going to continue to pass potential people that are good.
That's a great point.
Just as good for you as but you don't believe it because in your head you're just always looking for the better thing, right?
Yeah. That's a good point. That's a solid point. And to the other point that you said that like American guys are going to look for the Eastern European women or Indian women or whatever, the Filipino women, and those women then are also like, well, American men will do this for me and this for me and this for me and this for me.
Yeah.
And what I'm used to is, a guy that comes home and doesn't. And so it's a reciprocating relationship. And you're right, they'll find what they want. That's all you millennials, man, you guys got to step your game up, dude.
Stop thinking you're so special.
Mm-hmm.
Just settle. That's what I'm going to tell my kids. Like, honey, you just got to settle. Horrible. Are we doing a tinfoil hat?
No, but what we should do is we should do the last
science segment.
Should we?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, let's do that.
It won't open.
There it goes. This is for you because this is one of the listeners had emailed us.
I don't like it.
Google's DeepMind AI understands the benefits of betrayal. So this comes from Abel, which is one of our listeners, right? And it says it looks increasingly like that artificial intelligence will be the harbinger of next technological revolution when it develops to the point wherein it is able to learn, think, and even feel without the input of a human. A truly smart AI, then everything we know will change almost overnight. This is exactly what it is. Right. That's why it's so interesting to keep track of major milestones in a development. What they're not saying in this is that then everything we know will change almost overnight. Do they not understand in that statement what that means? Everything we know,
profound,
right? Like everything we know will change overnight, almost overnight. Yeah, that means the end of us.
Yeah, we talked about that article before, where AI will reach a point to where, like, at 9 a.m., it's gonna realize that toast is made in a toaster, and at 9:05, it'll
be godlike.
Yeah. The level of intelligence that it has is like nothing that we can even fathom.
And
then
I'll be right there with them.
What the fuck?
Get it, buddy.
You're worried about if your coffee's warm, and this thing's like computing other dimensions into existence.
Yeah, that's why it's so interesting to keep track of major milestones in the development of AIs that exist today, including Google's DeepMind neural network. It's already besting humanity in the gaming world, and a new in-house study reveals that Google is decidedly unsure whether or not the AI tends to prefer cooperative behavior over aggressive and competitive ones. A team of Google acolytes...
Who thinks this is a good idea? I want to take a popular vote.
It's you know what it is? It's to ease our life. That's the we're working so hard to make our lives easier that we're making our lives obsolete. Right? Like eventually it's going to be like, well, we just need to replace this. You know how like in an assembly line you replace the robot that's less of, first they replaced a person with they replaced a person with a machine, right? But they still had to have a person that operates the machine. And then they figured out that they don't have to have a person to operate the machine. They can make a robot that operates the machine. And then they figure out they don't need the person to build the robot to operate that machine. They have a robot that builds another robot to operate that machine. And then eventually they figure out, wait a minute, we just use a computer to run the machine.
T-1000.
And then by the end of it, it's all running itself, right? So a team of Google acolytes set up 2 relatively simple scenarios in which to test whether neural networks are more likely to work together or destroy each other when faced with a resource problem. The first situation, entitled Gathering, involved 2 versions of DeepMind, red and blue.
Terrifying.
Yeah, being given the task of harvesting green apples from within a confined space. Running the simulation thousands of times, Google found that DeepMind was very peaceful and cooperative when there were plenty of apples to go around. The less apples there were, however, the more likely red or blue were to attack and disable the other, a situation that pretty much resembles real life for most animals, including humans. Perhaps more significantly, smaller and less intelligent neural networks were likely to be more cooperative throughout. More intricate, larger networks, though, tended to favor betrayal and selfishness throughout the experiments.
There's another thing on there called Wolfpack or something, where they give the computer the opportunity to they had to form a prey, and it could either work with or against another computer to capture the prey. And it said that it realized that cooperation was better in order to capture this. You know what this makes me think? Like, this makes me think that you take a dog and you're teaching this dog to kill humans.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's taught, to kill humans. And then you're just going to let it loose and hope that it... But, I've got it trained. It's trained. It won't bite me. But might it?
Yeah.
I mean, is there a chance it could bite you? Well, yeah, but it's small.
Uh-huh.
But there's still that chance, right?
And then you let it sleep next to your bed all night.
Like, there's still a chance. And if it does bite you, it's been trained to kill you. So why would it not?
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to stop. It's not going to, give you a little nip.
Yeah, no.
It's going to go through the sequence of making it happen, right?
Right.
So if a computer sees humanity as a threat to its existence, at what point would it think, especially when it surpasses our intelligence at some point in time, why would it have any reason to keep a human around?
Mm-hmm.
It would, just like you say, it'd start making itself, right?
Right.
And this is supposedly some great thing that we're supposed to be looking forward to. Like, our lives will change overnight. We'll be running and hiding from things. Shit will be trying to kill you because you're obsolete at that point.
Yeah.
Like, I like being on the top of
the food chain.
Yeah. I want
to be the intellectual genius, or the superior intellectual being.
Yeah. You fucking Resident Evil, like, you're going to go to work, there's going to be a gigantic projector with a face on it, like, Mr. Brim.
Yeah.
Yes. You're late again. I'm always late. Looks like you were looking at porno on the way to work. Like, fuck, man. Like, how?
Yes.
Yeah. And my job is to, like, radiate robot parts or something, like, got my head shaved. Life just sucks.
Yeah, you got your chip in.
Yeah. Why does anybody want that? Why aren't they fucking focusing, like you're saying, on flying cars? Instead, we're focusing on robots.
Well, robots can build flying cars, and then we'll have them, making our lives easier.
interdimensional travel because they'll be like, oh, you guys don't even realize fucking another Earth that's at a different wavelength that's right outside your
dimension.
atmosphere.
Yeah, it's
You're
in
so
your.
stupid. You don't
It's
even realize that.
its wavelengths are just right here. You're radiating or you're vibrating in the wrong wavelength.
Robots can be like, Mike, come here. Look, right here. Do you see it? You don't see that? How can you not see it's right here? Look. You gotta look, right? Look, man. All right. You know what? I'm done trying to explain this shit to you. I'm taking over the world. I'm ruling both of these universes. We were already in that one in the future. This is the past.
It's like the subprime Krang and the Krang.
It just seems like an all-around bad idea.
Yeah, I'm starting to agree with you.
Stephen Hawking even says Stephen Hawking's a wheelchair and talks with a fucking voice box.
He changed his prediction from 1,000 years to 100 years now.
Wow. I don't think the War of the Machines is going to happen in like.
No, he said that we got to get off the planet in 100 years.
Oh.
I think that.
I'm so hungry all of a sudden.
Yeah, me too.
Hungry and tired. How can that be?
This gas, it's
It's making me crave sulfur-rich foods.
hydrogen sulfide. Should be making you angry. Is what it should be doing.
I'm only getting like it. It's
Because
the edge.
It's poisoning you.
It's like just brushing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that does it for tonight. We
Yeah.
ended on a sad note there, the end of humanity. I wonder what churches and stuff think about this.
I don't know what they think.
My wife's always sending me that Catholic podcast.
Uh-huh.
She should
Which
send them something and say, what do you think about the,
they probably have a
artificial
podcast about it.
intelligence?
They probably have one. They do. They have a lot of podcasts. They've been around a long time.
Listen to ours and just listens to that one, which is
She likes them.
fucked up.
Which I have to say, I have to maintain my skepticism, even of the media, which I understand your wife's point. Because, however, I don't agree with their definition of freedom, right? Like their parameters for freedom, which I listen to. So I guess this is directly towards your wife.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I don't agree with their parameters. I don't believe that. I believe that regardless of a creator, regardless of how you got here, the fact is that you exist, however it is, and that no other man should have those rights over you. Be it, which they did make some great points. They talked about which I do agree with. This is that. They said how did it go? It said the freest man is not the man with the least restraint or restraints. It's actually the most virtuous man, which I agree with that, but not because of a law that keeps you from killing another man or robbing another man. It's because the reason that you would be the most free if you're the most virtuous man is because you are maintaining self-preservation at the highest, right? Like your moral code is because you have your rational self-interest in mind. That's why you don't go and murder people. That's why you don't go and rob from people, because it will not help you in the long run, right? You'll eventually be, if you go out just like you go out and do unto others, right? You're doing bad stuff to other people, right? Then that bad stuff's going to come back on you eventually. And I do agree with that. I don't agree that they talked about Trinitarian love, and that has to do with the Trinity, and that it's unto death about freedom. I don't believe that. But I have no problem with them, their take on it. It's their take, just like it's my take. You know what I mean? So, as long as we're not hurting anybody else, physically harming, or you're free to interact. In my opinion, right? But she is right. I do have to maintain skepticism. The media will use they'll take blurbs from the Pope and run with it, right? So for a reaction.
How is Johnny Depp broke?
What?
Johnny Depp broke?
Did his wife leave him?
Johnny Depp, a star in crisis. And
I don't believe
the
that stuff.
story of his missing millions. All right, so thanks for being on, or thanks for listening to the show tonight. If you came over from Brush Beaters blog, we hope to have you stick around. If you have any show ideas, make sure and email them at xspearheadx@yahoo.com. Like and share our Facebook page. If you have any questions, complaints, or concerns, email them or messages on Facebook. And we're glad to have you and hope we can keep you.
Adios, muchachos.